finally convinced Comic Food to show up finally, right?
Yeah.
That's good. But
they had to drag me in here kicking and screaming.
Oh, of course we did. Of course we did. We'll wait here a minute or two to see if we get any more people showing up, but I think we'll be okay. So what have you guys been up to? Anything crazy?
Dave's big unboxing win gave him the confidence to come in tonight.
Yeah, man. You got that really nice book from Jabroni. What was it again? Oh, yeah, that one. Yeah,
that one.
Just that one. No big deal. All right, we got Epic Gear and I Relieve. What's up, bro? We got Bake the Snake showing up. What's going on? Awesome. Did you guys do anything crazy for the holidays? Any big Thanksgiving stories? Anything coming up for Christmas?
No.
Not. I mean, spending it with some family. Got the kids a dog, so that'll be fun.
You got the kids a dog.
Yeah.
Awesome.
It's finally the year for the dog.
Man, is it a puppy?
Now my big fear is how to keep it away from the comic books.
a door.
Yeah.
Do it. Just put a door up. No problem. I've got 2 dogs myself. My small one's 130 pounds. Ms. Comic Collector, how's it going? Thanks for swinging by. Okay, so how do we want to do this? Okay, so we'll keep it as fair as possible.
That's kind of tough. You got Tim here.
Yeah, it's true. It's hard to keep it fair when we're talking with Tim.
This is gonna be some show.
So we'll go by
the guy with the whole organization, secret organization, supposedly. that I'm in no way associated with whatsoever.
Yeah, right. You're only half of the show, and you're not affiliated with what's going on. Yeah, right. No problem. Hey, Joe, what's going up with Shaking Furries? So whoever's birthday month is closest to December gets to decide whether or not they want to kick or receive.
I'm June.
You're June? What are you?
I got January.
So that's closest to this month. So, Mr. Fu, would you like to go first or second?
I will go second.
All right.
That way, if Tim's books are too hot for me, I can suddenly have technical difficulties.
Right.
So when Tony gave us these gift cards, he said, you can't buy books that you already had.
Right. Yep.
And it's going to be judged based on cover and the story, how good the story is.
I totally forgot that part, but okay.
Just all around epicness.
Yeah.
Yeah. So when I went to get these.
And it had to be DC too, right?
Yeah, it had to be DC because the 3 of us were all big DC guys.
Yeah. Well, I did not remember that part, which is good because my first thought when you said something you don't have was Marvel.
Oh,
yeah, right. I would have just bought a bunch of Marvel books and been done with it. But yeah, you're right. We're all big DC guys. So
the first 2 weeks, I was looking at Marvel. I was maybe trying to find some facsimiles, famous ones. Wasn't getting nowhere, and I'm like, you know what? I'm just gonna go to my strength. What if I was just going to buy comics? What would I be looking at? Trying to get the best deal, stuff like that. And these are all books that I need. These are all books that I think are really, really good, especially if you're a DC fan. This first one, I don't know if it really counts as the free one you get.
I think it is worth noting, since the chat is going to be voting, that you opened your box ahead of time, and I hear there may even be a forged receipt. So just gonna throw that out there.
Yeah.
No, that's too funny.
Yeah, there's because when I was buying, I went ahead and got
make it big here, but I can't.
These are extra books that went above the 15 that I pulled out, and I kept the receipt to prove that the books I'm going to show equal 15 or less. So that's just the free one. It's the first time I ever bought from Nucadia, and they give you free books based on how much you spend.
Yep.
Yeah.
So I actually heard
The other thing too, I don't know if you noticed this, Tim, but there are coupons every day. There's like a monthly coupon, a weekly coupon, and I think a daily coupon.
Yeah.
And so you go check those coupons out on the site and you get a discount, which is really nice. If the book has been sitting there for X number of weeks, I don't remember what it is.
Yeah, the longer it sits, the cheaper it is. It's kind of cool.
Yeah, I love Nucadia. It's great for run fillers.
Yeah, it is.
So these are the books I got, and they're similarly themed, but going off of cover, and I can attest these are all good stories. So first up, we have Secret Origins #2 with the Blue Beetle.
Ooh,
we got
I like that one.
The Charlton Blue Beetle and the new one.
Very cool.
Definitely.
Very cool.
I think this might be the weakest cover in my lot, but then again, if you're a Green Lantern fan, this is Secret Origins 7, and they're not all Secret Origins, but most of them all are.
Green Lantern and the
So
Sandman.
Very fair. I
Let me see if I
do.
can make that bigger. Okay, there you go. Now it's bigger. Now it's like right in front of your face. There you go.
That's
You
pretty
got
cheap,
Gardner,
Tim.
Jordan,
Going after a Green Lantern when you know I've got them all, and we're not allowed to get books we already have. That's just cheap.
Well, if you think that's bad, a lot of these are Green Lantern themed. We got Secret Origins 23, Guardians of the Universe,
Ooh,
and
I don't know that
Floronic
one.
Man.
That's 23.
Yeah. Part of
I'm
why
taking
I
notes.
love these type of series is how are you going to get a comic that says Guardians of the Universe in the title? I mean, yes, it's Secret Origins, but it's like a Guardians in the Universe comic book. That's super cool.
Joe's already
Very nice.
deducting 2 points from you because it's a yellow cover.
Oh no! Yeah,
Yeah.
keep score,
Yeah.
everyone.
Oh, Dan Piercy's in the chat. What's up, Dan? What's going on, bro?
This one is probably my second favorite of the lot. This is so cool. Talk about a cover. If you love DC Comics, how are you going to find a cover like this? Number 30 with Plastic Man and Elongated Man.
Wow, that's a good one.
Wow.
Yeah, I thought that
Very underrated.
I had a Shazam one that I think is in the top, not top 5, issue 1 through 5. I put it back because I saw this at the end. It's like, man, that is so cool. And this one, I actually need to pull out of the bag so we can see the whole cover.
Oh, we got a wrap around.
An underrated series. Maybe not story, but you talk about information. Who's who in the DC universe?
Oh,
Oh,
big wraparound cover. Yeah, that's cool.
Yeah,
That is neat.
for like $1.
nice.
I mean, you're talking about getting a cool cover. This is a cover you could hang on your wall. That's about as cool a cover as you're going to get. I got 2 more books. This is the
How'd
second.
you get all
The
these?
second part of.
This was $15, right?
Yeah, I'll pull the receipt up. And
Yeah,
when you
we-
look at the 3
we
I
gave him
pulled out,
15, but he
it will
kicked
be
in 15
under
of his own.
15.
Okay.
Oh, we should let the chat know we paid for shipping, so all of the 15 went into the books, and me and Dave did
Yeah.
discuss that.
Yeah, we discussed that at the time. Yeah, make
Gray
sure
Man's
we were
here.
both
This is
Gray Man?
following the rules.
I've got 2 books left. Both are Green Lantern related, but they're 2 series we haven't seen yet. This is the second part of a story, and when I read the first part, I could not wait to get this. Couldn't find it in the wild. This is Brave and the Bold 22,
Oh yeah,
featuring
Very cool.
the Spectre, Green Lantern, and Green Arrow. A really good story if you have not read it.
How
I highly
appropriate for
recommend
tonight's
it.
retro review.
mm-hmm.
Yeah. In the last book, it was a grail for me. I've been looking up about 5 months for this book. Could not find it in the wild. I think it was only $1 or $2 on this site. Not that it's a super expensive book. I just have weird grails. But Iron Lantern.
Iron Lantern.
Amalgam
That's
comic.
a good one. That's a good one.
Yeah. So that is my
I don't know
final
if
book
it's
right
one.
there.
Iron Lantern, huh?
Yeah, that's like when
Yeah.
DC Marvel did their mixed universe. That's what
Yeah.
came out. It's a what
Mhm.
would happen if Tony Stark Iron Man got a Green Lantern ring kind of thing.
Huh.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah, it's pretty cool. Awesome.
Okay, cool. All right. You ready?
All right, so Comic Fu is up. I'm going to give a quick grade here out of 1 out of 10, with 10 being like, you found a first appearance of, Hal Jordan for like 99 cents. And then I'd ask for it, but that's irrelevant. Let's see, out of 10, I'd say a solid 6. Solid 6. An argument could be made for a 7, but he came out of the gate swinging. That's awesome. Very impressive.
Yeah.
He definitely made use of the $15 gift card. That's
Yeah, he
cool.
did.
And if you love DC Comics, these are all really cool books. Even the Who's Who, so much information. And then we're talking about being judged on cover. I think I really hit all the bases.
If you do say so yourself.
All right, Mr. Comic Fu, you are.
Tim did good. I was expecting Tim to come with some books
Yeah.
we weren't expecting, and
For sure.
and I'm not at all surprised that he did good on the value.
Joe
'cause,
Joe
if
gives you a
watch his haul video-
6.9.
Okay. Okay.
6.9.
Joe thinks I've got one book. All right.
All right, so you're on the clock. Let's see what you got.
All right. So I've still got mine in the box. So
Oh, wow. Didn't even take it out of the box. Plus 1 point.
yeah, right. All right. Very nice. Okay, so I'd just like to point out that when you're considering these grades, that Tim, funny enough, in your last video, and I had purchased this before you posted it, you were talking about this series and saying how great it was. So,
But I stand by
this-
it, whatever it is.
Yeah, here we go. Okay, so I give you Adventures of Superman, number 425. This is the start of Adventure of Superman, right?
Wolfman Ordway.
I do believe Tim was just talking about this. And I just love this cover. You got Superman tied up there. First off, how could I not pick Superman? That's everybody's favorite hero, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
And with the tank there, I just thought that was a truly iconic cover. And then I got 426. So I went with a little run here. And this is a Legends crossover.
Is it? Okay. Oh, yeah, it is. Okay, yeah.
Mhm.
Let's say that up at the top.
This one is one of my favorite covers. This and the next one. This is 427. Check that out.
Throwing a tank.
So
That's
cool.
how I feel when I leave the gym. I feel like I can.
Right?
do that. But in reality, I have a hard time getting the car door open because I'm sore.
All right. We got to get Squatchy to do you a Superman sketch cover with you coming out of the gym, picking up a tank.
Hurling a tank over a mountain. Yeah, why not?
Right? And last up, so I only got 4 books. I picked up 424. What a truly iconic cover. Check that out.
Oh,
This will
that
be
sounds
my
like-
July 4th Instagram post this year.
There you go. Now,
Yeah.
just need an American flag somewhere in the background.
Yep.
I love it.
So there you go.
And that's it.
That's it. Those are my
Okay.
book.
So now we leave it up to you. I'm
Does
not going to
Tim
vote.
approve?
Does
That's
Tim
what I
approve?
want.
What
Yeah,
do you think, Tim?
Definitely.
All right.
Definitely.
Okay, so now we'll leave it up to our audience to decide who bought the best books, who bought the coolest books. So we'll give it a couple minutes. We'll let everybody take a few minutes to think about it. We got Iron Lantern, we got Blue Beetle, Green Lantern and Sandman up there for Tim. We got Secret Origins. That's cool. And then Mr. Fu down here, we got a run, a Superman run, very iconic run, very Superman-esque. It's tough to decide. I wouldn't know what to do. So everybody, who you got? Who you got? So we'll give that a minute or two.
Joe, you're killing me. 0.1?
No, Gray Man. I'm just the gracious host. I didn't buy anything. My wife
We
will
got
kill me.
one vote for Comic Collector already.
Yeah, Joe
Joe
votes for
has-
Comic Collector. There we go. All right.
Joe has good taste down there. Thank you, Joe.
There goes Joe's A-okay.
Yeah. He's gonna send it tomorrow. All of a sudden, it's gonna get lost in the mail. All right, we got one vote each.
Oh wow.
Oh nope, it's 2-1 now.
He's got his wife voting for him.
All right, so Squatchy votes for me because technically I did buy them all.
Yeah. There we go, yeah.
Watch,
Yeah.
he's loving this, I'm sure. He's going to be a signing asterisk.
That's 3-1.
Oh, wow. We got Jaguar. Yeah.
Yep.
Hey man, good to
3-1.
see you, Jaguar.
I was hoping it would be
Look at
close.
this.
It's starting to run away with it.
The Foo Crew did not show up today.
Well, maybe you forgot to mention it during one of your cult meetings. I don't know.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh man.
So it's we'll give
Here
it
we go.
Not looking good.
we'll give it another
Ep-
4 minutes. So it's 6:20.
Epicurean Eye Relief.
The votes. What's
Voted
that?
for me too.
Who did?
Epicurean Eye Relief voted for me. Epicurean Eye Relief. It's
Oh,
coming up
man.
after
Oh,
Jaguar.
okay. It hasn't come up. I was gonna say, did I miss one? Oh,
Oh yeah, there it goes.
there it is.
We don't have to count my
Wow.
wife's vote, you know.
That's a
Bring it within
blowout.
5.
Your wife can't vote.
Even
Yeah.
Tony got a vote.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I got to vote somehow. Awesome. I'm happy. So me and Mr. Fu were tied for second with 1 vote apiece.
Oh, there we go. Dave got a vote.
Mercy for no, he
Squatchy
voted
vote.
for Tony already.
Yeah.
That's like a half a vote.
That's funny.
This does bring into consideration, does the Fuminati exist? Squatch is the
Yeah,
only one voting for you?
If there's no one voting for him, I mean, we might have to double confirm that the Fu.
Oh man.
We'll see. 3 minutes,
right,
and then
Tim.
we'll call the election in 3 minutes.
Okay.
I think I'd just like to surrender now. This is not good.
So if he loses, does that mean you got to ship all your books to him?
Oh,
No, I just
He's
finished
already
that
got
run. Yeah, that was my
Yeah.
last video. I finished
know.
Adventures of Superman.
yeah, that was totally coincidental too.
Mark Knapp just showed up. What's up, Mark Knapp? 68.
You're too late to save me, Mark.
Too late. He must be a captain in the Fuminati.
Quantity over quality.
And real quick,
I'll
while we
admit,
wait, I just
the
want to
single
let everybody
best
know
book
to sub
was
each other
probably
up.
Dave's last
real quick.
one.
Yeah, I thought for
Was
sure.
that a-
I thought
Yeah,
for sure this would
Superman
have
book
done
is
it.
iconic.
Okay, real
Yeah.
quick, we got some more people in the house, so show them up real quick.
All right. So
I'm-
we've got Adventures of
Okay.
Superman. This is the first one. We got a small run. This is a Legends crossover. We got Superman carrying a tank. And then we got that iconic cover right here.
Very cool.
And then I came with Iron Lantern, Secret Origins with the Blue Beetle, both the Charlton and the DC one. Secret Origin with Sandman and 2 Green Lanterns. Secret Origins with Guardians of the Universe and the Floronic Man. A Who's Who. That was my big cover right there. A Brave and the Bold. This is my storybook right there. Awesome story. And a Secret Origins with Elongated Man and Plastic Man. And then we're back to Iron Lantern.
Very cool.
See
So-
Gray Man's comment.
Yeah, I did. I voted for him because he watches my show sometimes. But now we got a little bit of a legend here. We got Metarog in here, and I'm curious to see who he votes for.
Come on, Metarog.
And Mr. Mark Knapp, real quick. Who do you guys think spent the best $15? Who got the coolest books?
Well, I know Roger loves some Charlton Blue Beetle right there.
See, that's what he did. He bought a whole bunch of different characters, thinking he'd strike gold somewhere.
And notice also that he couldn't do it on DC alone. He had to find a way to mix some Marvel in there and some Charlton.
Hey,
I guess, if you're not cheating, you're not trying.
Thank God I didn't find any Marvel those first 2 weeks. I would have been disqualified.
Yeah, right? That would have been really funny.
Yeah, right.
Yeah, I totally missed that part and was like, man, I know I could find like a First Punisher or something, reprint.
A Hulk 181 or
yeah.
something. Okay,
All
so
right.
it's 621. Even I'm sorry, Dave, but even if they both voted for you,
It's not going to do anything.
it wouldn't have done much. But I'd still like to get their opinions. So, Tim, the collector, over here, you're on this side. Nope, you're on this side. This guy wins. He has the better taste in spending $15.
But beating Dave, the king of unboxers. At an
No,
unboxing.
Chad owns that title now.
So, real quick,
Oh,
I'm going to
wow.
make the announcement that since Tim won, Tim is going to do this again, but against somebody else. But there's
Okay.
the next round is yet to be decided. So it'll be somebody versus somebody,
Okay.
and then you play them. So
All right.
Okay.
So
I
I'll
should get a-
forever be remembered as the original loser of this.
you know
thing.
what?
Awesome.
I'll just for fun, we'll do like a losers bracket.
Okay.
Who knows?
Maybe I can lose worse at that too.
That's true. And Metarog said that soups are great, but I'm a huge amalgamum fan and who's who. So Tim by knows. So Metarog, thank you for your votes. But Mark says, "Damn, on the spot." But I like the Superman. So you at least
I got one vote.
You got some votes. Yeah,
Mark.
wasn't a
showing up
complete
for me.
blowout. You were just kicking
I feel a
field
little
goals when
better.
you were scoring touchdowns.
Yeah.
Awesome.
You got one and a
So,
half counting Squatchy.
That's true.
Even I got a vote, and I wasn't even playing.
Yeah.
So it's exciting. Congratulations to Tim. I should make
Thank you.
some kind of like super cool prize to like once we have all the brackets worked out. Who's the coolest, who gets the trophy. I should have some kind of cool prize or something. I don't know. We'll figure that out. But awesome. Thank you both for playing. I'm
Sure,
glad
it's
you guys
fun.
enjoyed it. This looks like you guys got some
Thank you, Tony.
good books out of it. No problem. No problem.
yeah.
Yeah,
Thank you very much.
I had a lot of fun just listening to the smack talk back and forth. Just being a silent observer.
I
Checking
gotta
my
tell you, I
messages.
wasn't expecting it. I was kind of just smacked across the face on that one, tuned in live to Tim's video, and next thing I know, I'm getting roasted.
And look at that.
Yeah,
Squatch
I
is
was
throwing
talking
shade
some
already. He
trash
went
on
the
Dave.
floor with you guys. So he says he buys amazing books. So that's kind of cool.
Yeah.
Awesome. So that's over. Thank you both for playing. Should we move on to our book?
Yeah, this is a
Awesome.
fun one.
Sure.
This is a good one, and I like the short ones, just
Mhm.
because I hate watching a TV show and then to be continued. Like, no, I want to watch a show right now.
Yeah. Yep. Yeah. So this is great because we got 3 big Green Lantern fans here, right?
Yes, I am a
Yeah.
big Green Lantern fan. Been for many years.
All right. So who wants to kick this off?
It's your guy. This is kind of your guys' thing. I'll let
Okay.
I'll let Tim decide who goes first. Yeah, he's the winner.
On the review.
Yes.
Well, just because I want to poke fun at Dave, I'd like to start it off just to
Go
give a
for it.
little background.
We haven't had enough.
Yeah. Yeah. So this book starts off. We have Light Master Raynor. You know, at this time, he's the only Green Lantern.
He's Ion, right?
I don't think he is at this moment. I think it
I
just
thought I
came
thought
off of that.
was the okay, maybe I'm wrong.
I mean, I could be wrong. I don't remember any
I thought that
mention
was
of him.
the
of
costume
Ion in
I
here.
saw. Okay.
Oh yeah, that is when he got that costume. But so basically, Hal Jordan had turned into Parallax for any readers who ain't caught up, and then he died sacrificing himself to restart the sun in a miniseries called Final Night.
Yep.
And he had turned into the Spectre. So that's where we are at the beginning of this book. There's just one Green Lantern. I guess two. He made a ring for John. So there's two Green Lanterns. And I think Kyle had just recently brought.
Too.
Yeah, Kilowog.
Oh yeah. Okay. And I think he just recently brought the Guardians back too, didn't he?
Yeah, the Guardians were
I think
there.
that happened
Yep.
just prior. Like they were all in the power of his ring. It's been a while since I read that story. So basically, we start off and you're seeing a ship is crashing. And it's basically some people go inside and you see Kyle, and he has a casket with him. And he says, something's coming. It has a name. All right, so a little bit of tension. What's happening? Why is Kyle crashing? And then I'll throw it over to you, Dave. What happens next?
So one thing I want to point out too, like just so that everybody understands what this story is, this is the start of the Jeff Johns run.
Yes.
Yeah.
One of my favorite authors. And it's also the Ethan Van Sciver run of Green Lantern, which again is one of my favorite artists. The team up of these two guys, this is like such a fantastic book. It cannot be understated just how good both the story and the artwork are. A lot of detail. Oh, look at that.
There's only one book in this whole run that I don't have autographed.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow. All right. So Kyle's crashed on Earth. Then we've got Guy Gardner and John Stewart. They're kind of going to a baseball game, and Guy Gardner is Warrior at this time. He does not have a ring, and they go there, and Hal Jordan shows up, and Hal, as Tim mentioned, is still the Spectre. And as soon as Hal gets there, all the people in the stands begin coming up to Hal and confessing all of their sins because he's the spirit of vengeance. Basically illustrating that he can't go anywhere without people just like coming to him and just like confessing all that they've done wrong. So he's got to take off, and then it switches over to Green Arrow. You want to take that, Tim?
Oh yeah. So you see Green Arrow and Speedy. Looks like they're getting ready to go out on patrol. When who should show up but a main character of the last story we did with Tony, Black Hand, shows up. And this is pre dead Black Hand. He still has his old gimmick. And basically, he wants Green Lantern's ring because that's how he charges his own weapon. And of course, Hal Jordan shows up. And it's a pretty crazy way to start it off. He tells Black Hand, "You're called Black Hand. Well, why don't you live up to your namesake?" And burns his hand off.
Yeah, that was pretty cool.
Yeah. And you talk about good art. I love this panel. After he burns
Van Sciver is very talented.
Almost Joker-esque, just Hal Jordan smiling under the hood.
Yeah, I don't know if you've ever heard.
Go ahead.
I was gonna say I don't know if you've ever heard EVS talk about this, but he said that these books are he considers some of his best stuff ever. Like he's most proud of it. Like it's phenomenal.
It shows because it's even some of the covers he's done are just phenomenal.
Yeah.
Definitely. You wanna take it, Tony?
Are we still on book 1 or book 2?
Yeah, we're finishing up book 1. I think we're at the part where Guy Gardner starts going into his.
Oh yeah, where Guy Gardner's body is where he rejects his DNA.
Yeah,
and Coast City kind of reappears, and who comes to save the day? But the entire Justice League comes out to do some investigative work. But the inside of Coast City, when the League starts looking around, there's a lot of things that they notice, and one of the things that kind of stands out is all the streets are there, but the only building is Hal's apartment, which is kind of cool.
Yeah.
Kind of weird. And then Batman thinks that Hal is somehow responsible, and John Stewart actually stands up for Hal Jordan, which is kind of cool because I think at this point the Hal Jordan relationship with John Stewart is rocky. So for John Stewart to stand up for him kind of shows his true feelings for his friend Hal. And then Hal, closing out the book, Hal Jordan shows up at the airport to see Carol Ferris.
Yeah, and that whole thing with Batman, accusing Hal of being responsible for all this is kind of like an underlying theme of this whole series. That Batman's not Hal's biggest fan.
Yes, that's to say the least, and that's
it makes
kind of
some...
the vibe going through the rest of the book. Without giving a whole lot of spoilers away, is that Batman isn't 100% trusting of Mr. Jordan.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So that's kind of cool. Just keep that in mind as we're progressing. Batman he thinks Hal's up to no good.
Yep.
Yeah.
So why don't we move on to book 2 then? And in this one, it starts off with Kyle Rayner, who's now crashed to Earth in the beginning of this story. We start with him again, only this time he started to regain consciousness, and these hikers have found him. And it's clear that he is fighting through a tremendous amount of pain. In fact, he's actually like fighting with himself not to use the ring to fight the pain. And it's kind of curious why, and you don't get an answer yet. It will become clearer later. But the ring starts speaking to both him and the hikers actually hear it too, I believe, saying Parallax is coming. And so now we know what it is that has a name and is coming. It's Parallax. So, and we haven't seen Parallax in quite a while, right, Tim? I think
it's been a hot minute for sure.
Yeah.
We haven't seen Parallax since the end of the Final Night miniseries.
Okay.
Well,
yeah.
Unless it's like a time travel type weird story.
Oh yeah, sure,
Right.
sure.
Yeah. So there's this quick scene here where it's a flashback to Hal's father. His plane crashes when Hal is a young child. He's doing like a test flight and he crashes right in front of Hal. And what I found interesting about this is they kind of honed in on this part of the story. And I don't think they've done it this way before, but they actually showed that Carol, because her father owns the airport, actually was there at that time as well, witnessing it with Hal. I didn't realize that previously, and I don't know if this is something John's introduced to the story, but it does add an element to show that these two are bonded even closer, like at that pivotal moment in Hal's life. So I thought that was pretty cool.
For sure.
Tim?
Very sure.
Yeah, so then we switch over to back to the Justice League Watchtower, because that's where they have Guy Gardner. And basically they're, like you said, Batman's suspicious, so they're trying to track the Spectre. They got Zatanna up, and they pinpoint him in Coast City. And I also really enjoyed this. It's been a while since I've read this, and I really, really enjoyed this read-through. but I didn't realize how many cool characters are in there. Like you have the JSA.
I
Dr.
know.
Midnight,
they're all in
Mr.
here, and
Terrific.
that's one of the reasons
Yeah.
why I recommended it, just because everybody's in this book. Everybody's in this book.
Yep.
And I really like this conversation here between Flash and Mr. Terrific, where the Flash tells Mr. Terrific, how would you feel, Mr. Terrific, if the man who shared your name turned into a killer? Because keep in mind, if you were reading this book back in the day, even up to this issue, Hal Jordan turned into a supervillain. I mean, yes, at the end of Final Night, he sort of, Final Night became a hero again, sacrificing himself. But then even as the Spectre, he's still been pretty sketchy. You know what I mean?
Right.
So you got to keep
Spectre's a
that
weird
mindset.
dude.
Yeah, I know a lot of us here might know what's happened since then, but if you read, reviewing this, keep in mind, we're not too sure what's really happening. Is Hal Jordan doing something sketchy? We hear Parallax is coming. That's, reason to be concerned. So then we come up to the Justice League. You talk about good art. He really displays the members of the Justice League really well.
Isn't his
And Dave,
Batman amazing?
Yeah, remember the review we did with Jaguar? Even Aquaman's hand, I don't know what that is, but he seems to have like a water hand.
Yeah, that's right. Because he's missing a
Yeah.
hand.
Yeah, I do remember
Yeah.
that. I think it's like Atlantean technology.
And he's back to his old costume again.
Yeah.
That was just something I was noticing because we just did that review.
Yeah.
And then I don't know who wants to take it from here, but we start to see why Kyle is fighting his ring at this point. With John.
Yes.
Oh yeah.
I'm trying to find a good jumping off point. I mean, I can take it from here. So yeah, once the Justice League pinpoints the Spectre in Coast City, they then confront him at Ferris Air.
Right.
And Batman voices his concern about Mr. Jordan and what's going on, and is very accusatory, which upsets Mr. Stewart. And he begins to argue with not only Batman, but the rest of the league. And in a fit of anger, begins to get into a shoving match with the rest of the league, and accidentally knocks down Superman. So that's kind of a unique thing to do.
Yeah.
That was impressive for two reasons. One, because John came to Hal's defense, but two, he took out Superman.
Yep, knocked out Superman.
It shows you how powerful Green Lantern really is.
He says
For sure.
everybody has a weak spot and a right to the eyes. That's pretty awesome.
And Hal tries to separate everybody, but the Spectre inside of him is kind of fighting him internally. So there's not a whole lot that Mr. Jordan is able to do. But it's very one of the best scenes in the whole run, in my opinion. Is just this whole confrontation at the airport.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
So it's kind of unique. And then back up at the watchtower, the ring Ollie had duplicates itself and flies to little lanterns do right over to there you go, there's the scene, right over to Mr. Gardner, making him a lantern again.
Yeah,
So,
and I love that scene because the ring's like going on his finger after he had just got done saying, "Yeah, I don't need the ring. I'm good without it." It goes onto his finger and it goes, "Oh yeah," and then he's like back in uniform. It's so cool.
But then Kilowog is still here, and Kilowog kind of joins Kyle, Mr. Rayner, but attacks him, telling him to use the ring. Trying to like you would jumpstart an old tractor. Sometimes you just got to push it till it works. But he won't. And then out of nowhere, here comes Ganthet. Here comes Ganthet, and we realize
at this point we don't know why he won't use the ring because this is the second time now.
Yeah. You're right. There's been multiple times where he hasn't utilized the ring, but Ganthet appears, and we realize that the coffin that Kyle brought to Earth contains the actual physical body of Hal Jordan.
Right. So what we've seen up until now, it's been like, again, that spirit of vengeance that has attached to his body like a parasite almost, right?
Yeah. Yes.
Yeah.
So now we
or not
have
his body, I guess, right? His spirit.
yes. So we have the spirit of Mr. Jordan, and now we have the actual body of Mr. Jordan getting closer to each other, which is hopefully going to turn out really well. But we'll have to wait further down the line to see. But yeah, very excited. Book 3.
All right. So book 3. This book is crazy. It starts out with Kilowog. Like, there's no explanation. He just goes after Ganthet. Like, he attacks. And then you see Ganthet just kind of like explode in this like explosion of willpower, just knocking Kilowog down. And at that point, there's a whole bunch of shrapnel flying through the air. And Kyle has no choice but to use the ring to create a shield to protect himself from the shrapnel. And when he does, he begins to get visions of, and he's starting to hear a voice in his head. And so clearly, as soon as he used the ring, this happened. And then it switches back over to the Spectre taking Hal Jordan to Coast City, and he actually leads him back to his apartment because, as we mentioned, that's the only building that's actually standing, even though all of the streets, the street signs, everything else is there, but no buildings except for his apartment. And so Hal goes there, and inside is his power ring. So we're starting to get these hints that, you know, he's being drawn back to Hal Jordan again, right? And then switches back to Kyle. And now Kyle's talking with Ganthet, and we learn that it's fear that is driving John Stewart mad. That's why he just attacked Superman. It's driving Kilowog mad. It's why Kilowog just came down and attacked both Kyle and Ganthet. And we also learn that it was actually Ganthet who sent Kyle into the sun to retrieve Hal's body. So Ganthet is very much in on this. And of course, Ganthet's the one that kind of saved the core and gave Kyle that ring early on. So these two are back at it again, right?
Mm-hmm.
You want to take it, Tim?
Yeah, so we get Kyle then transports to the Watchtower. I guess I'm a little lost here because Hal's body's up in the Watchtower. Wouldn't it be down where the fighting is? That just kind of threw me off when I was looking at this.
Yeah.
Cameo appearance by Tim's cat.
Yeah. So we see whenever Hal picked up that battery, he saw Parallax talking to him. So we switch back to Hal, and he's fighting with Parallax holding a lantern. And Parallax is talking to him. And it's sort of what we see on the cover here. All three of them, Parallax, Spectre, and Hal Jordan, really kind of duking it out for Hal Jordan's soul. And then we get to, this is really where John starts to change the Green Lantern mythos. In the conversation with Kyle and Green Arrow, he's telling basically where he came from when he crash landed. And he went to this way out, and these aliens had cave drawings of a being called Parallax, which we see for the first time right here, the actual Parallax. And basically it does a whole, making sure it's all explained right here. Yeah, so basically the explanation would be that this being was feeding on fear, going crazy, so the Guardians took it and prisoned it in the central power battery. And of course, you see it's yellow, which explains why for the longest time Green Lanterns had that weakness to yellow. I know that's
Right.
something that's always made fun of. And it even goes on to explain that for a while he was dormant. Parallax was dormant in the battery, but then he was awake and looking for someone he can manipulate. And it explains why Hal Jordan got gray hair.
Yeah.
And that when Coast City finally went down, that was the mental break Parallax needed to take over. So like I said, he was a villain, but now we learned that there was actually this entity, the fear entity, and it wasn't that Hal Jordan did these acts. He was basically possessed or under the control of this fear being.
Yeah,
which
he's been
completely
vindicated.
Yeah, it's a complete game changer. And like we said, going forward, you find out about more of these entities, what they are, what they mean to a core.
Yeah.
And just seeing what's going forward here. Yeah, we get right up to, after that whole explanation, the battle for Hal Jordan seemingly ends. I love this. Am I showing it right?
Yeah.
Where Parallax seems to rip Jordan's face off and he's Parallax.
Oh yeah.
So it looks like Hal is now possessed again. But now we know
cannot
what.
catch a break.
Yeah, now we know what it is.
Yep.
And I can't explain it. I'm not doing it justice. What this means just to the Green Lantern mythos.
It's huge.
This fear entity being. And I'll just finish this off since we're here. Seemingly at the end of that explanation, up in the Justice League Watchtower, Green Arrow and Kyle are attacked by Sinestro. And that's big. I guess we didn't mention when Hal went crazy, he snapped Sinestro's neck. So Sinestro's supposed to be dead at this point.
Yeah.
So
Supposed to be.
Yeah, this is great.
Yeah.
So we got the return of Sinestro. We learned that Hal Jordan's classic gray hairline was actually caused by Parallax fear infection. And that slowly over time, Parallax had been infecting Hal Jordan. It was leaking out of his ring. And so Hal actually was not responsible for the actions of Coast City and whatnot. So that's pretty cool.
yeah.
And
So-
one thing I definitely want to point out, I feel like is important. This storyline still is important today in Green Lantern continuity. You know, this event is still referenced all the time. You know, especially in the current Green Lantern rebirth. Hal Jordan and some of the other Lanterns reminisce about, hey, remember that time you and Parallax and the Spectre, you know, couldn't figure out who was. I forget the line, but it was really funny. It was a real quick couple of panels throwaway, but they mention it. So this is important in current DC continuity as well.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
And that really is kind of cool. This you see it at several points throughout these books where you have to keep in mind Hal Jordan's spirit is also being torn in three different directions. It's Hal, it's the Spectre, and it's also Parallax. He's like, this is really a split personality type thing.
Yeah.
So we're gonna move on to book 4 here. I love that cover. I love seeing Ollie on the cover there. So yeah.
I was just going to say, even with all the reboots DC has, Batman and Green Lantern, for the most part, remain unchanged. Like their story and,
Yep.
you know, going from before Flashpoint even to Rebirth, like you said, this matters. None of that backstory has been changed. So it won't affect what you're reading today to read this.
No, it's definitely not going to give anything away either.
Yeah.
Yeah. So book 4 starts out, and we've got Sinestro. He's attacked the Watchtower, and it's just Kyle and Ollie there. Ollie being Green Arrow, and he basically takes them out. I mean, this is Sinestro. Sinestro's was really one of the most powerful Green Lanterns, that only rivaled maybe by Hal. And now he's got of course the yellow fear ring. So then it switches back to this Parallax version of Hal Jordan, and he attacks Ganthet. So, but Ganthet then is actually able to free Guy Gardner, Kilowog, and John Stewart from the control of Parallax. Because remember, they kind of flipped out and attacked their friends. And so Ganthet is not only holding off Parallax, but he's also freeing the Lantern Corps so that they can help him. And just then, the entire Justice League shows up. We're talking like Superman, Batman, Wonder Woman, the whole deal, and the Justice Society. So Tony was talking about this earlier about all these people. It is so cool seeing everyone show up,
and the Titans.
And the Titans.
And the Titans.
Yeah. And not to cut you off, but remember you mentioned John and Batman getting into it? You know, right here, Batman's like, I knew it. I knew how it was going to turn on us. I told you.
Batman is rarely wrong.
Yeah. So it's really cool just seeing all these characters show up. And then it kind of switches back to the Watchtower again. And Sinestro has basically defeated Kyle. And then Ollie, who has been entrusted with Hal's green ring, right? His lantern ring for safekeeping. He grabs the ring, kind of reaches out for it. He's all beat up. He grabs it, charges it up to the power battery that he's been holding as well for Hal. And has no idea how to use it. This is really cool. Like, he's totally inexperienced, and he just like puts his hand out and with the ring and just does whatever comes naturally to him. And sure enough, this green construct arrow comes out and goes directly through Sinestro's chest. It's really kind of cool. So I'll turn it over to you, Tim.
That's too funny.
You want to take it for a bit, Tony?
Sure. Let me catch up here.
So I think we're at where Parallax is attacking the Justice League again.
Yeah, so Parallax is battling the Justice League, but then Hal Jordan somehow deep down inside manages to muster up some strength and fights back while trying to free himself at the same time. But he's kind of split three ways. You know, he's got, Hal Jordan Parallax. He's got Hal Jordan Spectre. He's got, Hal Jordan Green Lantern. And, you can imagine having your spirit pulled a bunch of different ways. I can't imagine that feeling very good. The Spectre helps to free Hal and then leaves. And he's done. He's washing his hands with Mr. Jordan. He's off to go find somebody else. Probably going back to Jim.
Didn't he say, like, somebody's getting murdered right now? I need to go there.
Yeah. Yes.
Like that?
Yes. Yeah, I forget the line, but it's something pretty cool like that.
Yeah. He's just like, I'm done with you. Like, you've got this major event going on. You've got Parallax, one of the major entities of the universe, attacking the Guardians, the Green Lantern, the Justice League, the Titans, and the Justice Society. Inspector's like, yeah, see ya.
That's,
if you're trying to compare Kyle Rayner and Hal Jordan, how many hosts has the Spectre just been like, I don't need your drama. I'm out of here. See ya.
The Spectre has an attention problem.
Yeah.
Someone's being murdered. I gotta go.
Yeah.
We're fighting Parallax.
I've been waiting for this guy to get killed so I can dump this loser.
It's like getting an upgrade going to the prom.
I'm just messing with you.
Oh, that's funny. Yeah. So the Spectre helps to free Hal, and then he takes off. And then Parallax infects a Guardian, Ganthet, which, to my knowledge, I think this is the only time a Guardian has been possessed by Parallax. To my knowledge, at least.
Parallax, I think, yes.
It's the first time.
I think it's the only time.
What about in War of the Green Lanterns? Because Krona put all the entities and people. I don't remember if Parallax was one of them or not.
I guess technically, I guess
I
maybe
don't remember.
it was Parallax, but they didn't really call it Parallax. It's
Mm.
Parallax is
Yeah.
the fear entity, so I mean, I guess it would make sense. See,
Yeah.
I knew you'd know the answer. Sinestro is still fighting Kyle and Oliver Queen, and then the ring, all he has just flies off, and it goes back to Hal's body, and then all of a sudden, let me flip here. You get to this, kind of how the cover is working. You can see like Hal Jordan's kind of slowly coming back to life. I'm sorry about the glare, but Hal Jordan down there at the bottom, he's slowly coming back to life, which is kind of neat. See where I leave off. Yeah. Hal's body's resurrected, and he is a Green Lantern once again. He's back, once again to stop Sinestro.
And I'm a huge Hal Jordan fan. So that final page that Tim just showed, that's just so cool to me. Like I got goosebumps. Like, yeah, he's back.
Something I noticed reading this is someone at DC must have hated the fact that Hal Jordan had that streak of gray hair, because they mention it and then they even go as far as to show it. Where is it over here? Changing back. I feel like we're getting rid of that gray hair.
Yeah,
Finally.
that's right. Yeah, it is. I guess when he lost the gray hair, huh?
Yeah.
All right.
All right, let's head over to book 5. Here's my book 5. All these are Ethan Van Sciver too, by the way, and I have one Jeff Johns.
So who signed that, Tony?
This particular one is Ethan Van Sciver,
Oh,
right in the middle there. But
nice.
Jeff Johns signed my number 1 as well as Ethan Van Sciver.
Impressive.
But yeah, book 5. Getting close to the end here. I feel like this one has a lot of. It starts to tie up some loose ends, especially with Batman. But I won't jump too far ahead. I will pass it over to Dave.
All right. So
real quick, Dave. You know what this first punch in this fight reminds me of? So we could show. It shows Hal getting punched out of the watchtower and flying real far away.
Yes,
it was like the vote on our books earlier. Just the distance between our votes early at the beginning of the show.
Wow, we're gonna do that, huh?
Shots fired.
Right in the middle of the retro review.
I'm just messing around.
Man, not only he's defeated you, but he keeps reminding you.
Kind of like put my face in the mud a little bit more.
Yeah. Yeah.
Oh
man,
you're brutal, man. Fatality. You won. You're performing.
I'm probably showing some bad karma here.
Yeah. So this book actually is fairly quick. A lot of the scenes is just this battle of Hal Jordan and Sinestro. And again, so the Watchtowers, I guess it's on the moon, right?
Yeah.
So they're on the moon. So they're kind of like out in space, and they continue to fight through space, just like knocking each other everywhere. And then Kyle shows up to help Hal, and together the two of them defeat Sinestro, and he kind of like, I mean, they're just blasting with their rings, right? And so he kind of disappears in this like yellow smoke cloud in space almost. And really what's happening is he's being sent back to the antimatter universe, which is where he's not from there, but like that's kind of where he's it's like his purgatory, I guess you'd say. I don't know. But yeah, and so then it switches back to Coast City, and again, Ganthet is now infected by Parallax, and he's like growing huge in size. And I mean, that's a scary thing. I mean, you've got a Guardian of the Universe infected by Parallax. It takes the entire Justice League, Justice Society, right? The Green Lantern Corps, what's left of them, and then after defeating Sinestro, Hal and Kyle show back up to help with this fight. So I'll hand it off to you there, Tim.
Real quick before we move on, you're talking about art or just an amazing scene near the beginning of that Sinestro fight. Sinestro shoots out all these little shards, and then the next panel you see Hal responding with a whole bunch of little beams stopping those little shards.
Yeah.
I mean, that is fantastic.
Well,
and you know,
that's what
showing
EBS
how good Hal Jordan is.
Yeah. But that's what EBS
I mean,
is
that
known
fight,
for, just the detail in his artwork.
yeah, that fight, we went over it quick, but man, it was a good issue. So much good art, so much good stuff. And you even see...
So Tim, I got to stop
Go
you
ahead.
for a second because we can't move on from the end of book 5 because let's keep in mind what happens here. The Lanterns are all prepared to attack. And then you got Kyle. Like, they're all set to go. And Kyle's just like, hey, guys, what's the plan? And Jordan's just like, yeah, we'll figure it out when we get there. Let's go. Which is so cool. It's classic Hal and Kyle. Yeah.
Well, he showed up.
Right.
Didn't Kyle Rayner show up in that Girl Scout uniform? I forget. Was that this issue?
No, it
Yeah.
wasn't this one.
Okay.
I think that's next issue. Oh. And then the other thing that happens that is really kind of funny is Batman. Don't forget, Batman threw the Batarang and ties Jordan's ring up, right? Or his hand with the ring. And he says, I'm not letting you go anywhere. And so that's where we leave off. Yeah.
Do you guys know what this is a homage to? This scene?
No.
This one?
This, you're talking about the end of that book. We start off with Batman having his hand tied.
Yeah.
He burns off the Batarang, and we get the famous Hal Jordan punching out Batman. You know what that's a homage to?
No.
In Justice League Volume 2, like when the very first series ended, there was like Justice League and Justice League International where Guy Gardner was in the Justice League.
Yep.
In that book, Batman punches out Guy Gardner. That's like a homage to that scene. Yeah.
Yeah. No, Hal clocked him.
Yeah.
Just me. Just breaking.
So drop your books.
So basically, I like this. The 5 lanterns, they go to fight Parallax and the Guardian, and it's showing each lantern and Hal's like describing them, what makes them unique. I love that. That's Jeff Johns writing right there.
Great scene. Oh God, yeah. And
then this scene here with the giant Guardian's mouth open, they're firing into it. So long story short,
can we go back to those when he's describing each of the lanterns and they describe the construct styles? I thought that was really interesting. And for those that aren't as familiar with Green Lantern, each lantern, I mean, obviously they have their own personality, but it's reflected in the way they build their light constructs. So we got John Stewart, who's an architect, right? And so he creates these very kind of technical blueprints that build themselves from the inside out. You've got Guy Gardner, who's just like, the willpower is just like exuding from him, just like waiting to just like explode out. And then you got Kilowog, who's like so powerful that when he uses his, there's actually a sound that's released. It sounds like a cannon. Sorry, Tim, but you got Kyle. Kyle's big play, because he's an artist.
Yeah.
He's drawing around Parallax's head. I don't even know what he was drawing, but I just found it funny. And then, of course, Hal Jordan's all about precision and the focused fire. So I thought that was kind of cool.
Yeah, and I think that Stewart's more the tactician.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah. Well, he was a Marine too, right?
Yeah. Well, Hal's in the Air Force, so they both have that military background.
Yeah. I'm not sure if at this point had they really. No, I guess they might have in Justice League. I was wondering if they had really explored that background on John Stewart yet. Like as far as him being a Marine.
I don't
I'm
know.
not sure.
Not sure.
Yeah.
Sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off though.
Go ahead.
Oh, that's all right. So basically, they defeat the Parallax, and we get a little flash of the Guardians on Oa, which is really, leading up because we're getting that series coming. Yeah,
wonder
they
if they're
sent
gonna
Parallax
do-
back to the battery.
I wonder if they're going to kind of touch on this in the Green Lantern live action TV show. Kind of curious.
I don't know.
Or some kind of iteration of this.
I'm thinking, I think at the end here, we just have another conversation with Batman and Hal Jordan. Where Batman's like, so I guess you're back? And Hal's
Well,
like,
yeah,
yeah.
so- yeah, because the core, the Lantern Corps, they defeat Parallax, right? I mean, they focus all their
Yeah,
fire
they-
and take them out.
Yeah, they sent him back to the power battery, it looks like.
Yeah, they basically all recite the oath together. It's pretty cool.
Yeah.
But yeah, at the
I
end,
think-
that is funny. Batman steps up and he's got that attitude, and but then he does. He's like, "All right, fine. You kind of did a good job," and he kind of grumbles and walks away.
It's
Batman
interesting
style.
when you take
Yeah.
Hal Jordan and Batman's relationship, and we kind of explore that through other stories. In the current, well, it's not current anymore; it finished. But in Injustice, when Hal Jordan is coming back, Injustice 2, he did in the original series. We might have to touch on this later, but that's another problem. But Hal Jordan went yellow during the Injustice storyline because it was more powerful. The Guardians captured him. Long story short, they put him in Green Lantern jail, but he proved that he was once again worthy of a Green Lantern ring. So now he's actually on Batman's team. Batman says, "Oh hell no, no thanks. I want nothing to do with you." But the Flash ends up sticking up for him, and long story short, they become acquaintances again.
Well, do you recall how New 52 starts too? Justice League.
Very similar.
Yeah, it's with
Yeah.
Hal taking Batman down.
Yeah.
In fact, I wish I had thought to bring it. There's that Funko Pop, the Jim Lee series, where they've actually got Hal blasting and Batman's like all covering himself.
Or when Batman gets a Sinestro ring
Yeah,
and Forever Evil. I mean, it was like 3 panels, but it's still sweet.
yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, let's move on to the secret 7th issue. And that is the Green Lantern Silver Surfer crossover. Because in this issue, it's kind of cool. Let's see if I can show it here a little bit better. But anyway, you might have to just take my word for it. But up here, it talks about how the Green Lantern and the Silver Surfer have to take on Parallax and Thanos.
Nice.
So
Yeah.
that's the secret 7th issue.
All right. Very
Yeah.
cool.
It's a little fun there, but that's pretty cool. Yeah, this is a great run in my opinion. I'm curious to get your guys' thoughts. I know you guys have like a little grading system that you like to do.
Yeah, Dave, you wanna grade first?
Yeah. Art's an easy 5. Story is
Absolutely.
an easy 5. Nostalgia. I mean, it's long ago enough now that that's going to be a 5 for me. I mean, this is the start of my favorite run in almost all of comics. I mean, there's very few runs that I put up against this one. What else we got? Continuity.
It
I
definitely
think I'm gonna have to go with a 5 again. I mean, they changed certain things, but Johns does it so well. It's not changing it; it's adding to it. It's enhancing it. And so, and there was so much in this series that were flashbacks to stories of the past. I mean, I don't know. I'll be interested to hear what you think, but I'm again at a 5. I mean, this is easy for me. It's gonna be. What's the?
And then-
what am I missing here?
Your
Covers
cover.
5.
see that's
I'm
where I'm going to
25.
ding it. If I'm going to have a criticism on here, that's where I'm going to ding it is the covers.
Okay.
If we're just talking regular A covers, I mean, I feel there's a couple missed opportunities. I feel,
Okay.
especially when it comes to, I'll bring it back up here, put it back up on the monitor. When it comes to issue 5, I mean, it's cool. Don't get me wrong, but I mean, are we really going to go with Sinestro's old-timey costume when he looks like a jester in some king's court? I mean, is that really the best we're going to do? But I mean, it's drawn very well. But I mean, this is Sinestro we're talking about. Like when I see him wearing this blue and black outfit, I can't take him seriously.
But come on.
Yeah.
That number 1 is such an iconic cover now.
Yes. That's a good one.
It's really hard to pass this up. Man.
Yeah.
All right. So that's my score.
Curious to see how Tim's going to score it.
All right, for art, I've mentioned before talking to Dave that outside of Green Lantern, I haven't been the biggest fan of Van Sciver's art, but in Green Lantern, especially this series, it's flawless. Like I have to give it a 5. Story, I'm gonna give a 5 too. Yeah. Continuity, I've actually been hung up on it. Because Johns does really well, like you said, it's changes that have stayed, and not only stayed, but been expanded on. But you also have to look at things comic book companies do to try and get sales and then try to backtrack on. That's sort of ultimately what this is Kyle Rayner his sales were starting to decline. So they brought in Johns to revamp it.
Here we go.
And they had, they had the yeah, and they had the backtrack on the whole Hal Jordan thing, just like bringing Superman back to life or all that.
Hold on.
But Tim, I think I'm just going to go ahead.
You're not supposed to be grading this on your bitterness score.
No, this is continuity though. Like they're changing. I'm giving it a 5. I'm just pointing out that I almost knocked it to a 4 because I don't like how, hey, we're going to kill this character to get some sales and then a year later pretend like it never happened type thing. But that's a 5. Nostalgia. Yeah, nostalgia. I also thought I was going to ding it because this wasn't my childhood. But it's been a good 8 years probably since I've read this. And like I said, I was noticing stuff I hadn't noticed. And it just brought back the love of that Jeff Johns run.
Well, keep in
so
mind,
I'm going to give it a 5.
2004 and 2005 when it came out.
Yeah. Well, I came back into collecting... This was about 2007, 2008, so I got these in back issue bins. So I didn't read them when they came out. Yeah. And then cover, I'm sort of going with Tony. All these covers are great. But the one he mentioned, and even this one, I'm not too huge a fan of. I think the other 4 covers are just epic, but 4 and 5 are a little weak to me, so I'm just going to give it a... I'm just going to give it a 4 out of 5. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
So it's a 24 for me. I just knocked 1 point off for those 2 covers.
Nice.
Yeah. I'll chime in here just for a hot second. Story, perfect 5. Art, perfect 5. When Jeff Johns and Van Sciver definitely team up on a book. I mean, they team up on a book. And this definitely
because they've done Flash before, right?
They've done Flash before. They did Blackest Night.
In fact, I even heard that Johns called Sciver up and said, "I need you for this book."
Yeah.
And they did the first part of the series together too. So
yeah, exactly. For nostalgia, I'm also going to give this thing a 5 because. Not necessarily nostalgia. I'm going to say continuity. I'm going to give this a 5 in continuity because, like I said, in books that are coming out this year, like this event is referenced. So that's kind of cool. And that was 2000 and it ended in 2005, and here we are almost into 2020. And they're still talking about the original Green Lantern Rebirth. So that's kind of cool for me. But I agree. Nostalgia. And nostalgia. I don't see this being a big nostalgia book, but I mean, unless like this was your first comic book you ever bought with your own lawn mowing money growing up. I mean, I can't see this being a big nostalgia book for a lot of people. But it has great entertainment value. It has Titans. It has the JSA. You know, it has Conflict. It's got, you know, Kyle Rayner drawing pretty pictures for Ganthid. I mean, it's all there. Yeah, it's all there. Very, very enjoyable book. Definitely give it. I think it scores in the upper to mid 20s for me.
All right.
And what would you grade the covers, real quick, Tony?
Covers. I think you and I are in the same boat. I mean, they could have zigged, but I guess they decided to zag on a couple. And I feel like that's a big missed opportunity. Now, if you look at some of the variant covers are just like, oh, why wasn't that the original cover? That's awesome. But I think they missed an opportunity here, but hey, you can't win them all. Not worried about it. Still happy to have these books in my collection.
Oh yeah.
So.
Oh yeah.
All right.
That's
great.
So
That's pretty good for the books we've done so far, Tim. That's a pretty high scoring one.
I want to look
Maybe
real quick.
only Vengeance of Vane scored consistently higher.
I forget, where'd Blackest Night land?
Blackest
that might
Night. Considering we could each give a total of 25 points. Combined, we gave it a 74.5.
Ooh.
Nice.
And we gave this a 73, I believe.
Yeah.
All right. Not bad.
Not
So it
bad
seems
at
like
all.
whenever I'm on your show, we do good books.
Yeah. There you go.
That's
Well,
the
we've
factor.
been doing the Jeff Johns greatest hits when you're on.
But yeah, you know what?
Yeah.
It's tough not to pick those books. It really is. Just because of the writing and the artwork, it is hard not to get excited about them too. They're fabulous books, and I recommend if you don't have this book in your collection, pop over to Newcadia, and I'm sure you can get them for cheap.
Yeah, it's a great site.
For whatever.
Yeah.
Oh, and Super Rust 9000. What's up, man? Just coming in towards the tail end of it, but happy to have you on board.
So, hey, before we wrap up, we do have one other thing we like to do.
Sure.
Especially considering my big loss earlier. I need this one. So if I could just have a minute.
Sure. Take the minute.
I was just going to do one question. I was going to let you pick between three, Tim. But given the blowout, I'm going to go with all three. So that could be good for you.
Okay.
Right?
Okay.
This is your opportunity to really increase your score on these quizzes. So what we like to do on the retro review is we like to pay attention to just really inconsequential details and then quiz each other on it. And Tim's been keeping score. So first one I've got, this is like, I think it's page 6 of the first book. Okay. So this is early on. There is a street sign as they show Coast City. It says Coast City, 25 miles. And there is something spray painted on top of the sign. What does it say?
I do not know.
Detail. I don't know either.
Tim knows that he's got to pay attention to these. So It is spray painted on top. Not anymore.
Not anymore.
So Coast City, not anymore.
Okay.
Interesting.
All right. This is an easy one. You should know this, Tim. What is the name of the Coast City baseball team and what is written on their hat?
I should know this. And that's the type of thing I normally look at. Coast City. I'm drawing a blank. I don't know.
It's the Coast City Angels. Aim for the stars.
Okay.
How appropriate.
All right.
That's a
Now
couple
this
good
one,
ones.
This one you might know. I don't know if they had to have said this before, but this was the first time I took notice. What is the name of Hal Jordan's father?
Ooh. Interesting.
This is going
I have
to
I have a name in my head, and I know it's Hal Jordan related. I'm just going to say Harold.
Would you like to phone a friend? Not Harold.
Not Harold. Okay.
Tony,
What was this?
you think you know this one?
I don't. But I
Chat?
feel like I should.
Anyone in the chat?
Anyone in the chat?
Hal
What
Jordan's
is Hal
father?
Jordan's father's name for 8,000 points? What is Hal Jordan's father's name?
Look at Tim googling it.
No, I was just
All right.
that's-
The answer is Martin. Martin Jordan.
Never would have guessed it. Never in 100
yeah.
years
Me either.
guessed it.
So-
That's
Yeah,
good.
Something else.
That was fun.
Something else we normally do. I just want to do real quick. Sometimes we have the book show at the end,
Yep.
and I just wanted to. I grabbed this specifically because it ties into the story and to mess with Dave a little bit. But we have a one shot from the Sinestro War, the Parallax.
Yep.
This is where Kyle Rayner's possessed by Parallax, and weirdly enough, doesn't murder all the Green Lanterns and destroy the core.
Because he's not powerful enough.
Yeah. So
All right. So I brought my books as well. Again, Green Lantern themed. I thought these were kind of cool. I've actually got 3 books, but you'll see why. This is Green Lantern Dragon Lord number 1 of 3. And if I'm not mistaken, this is actually the very first Green Lantern of Earth. The first was not Hal Jordan. It was, I think this takes place in ancient China, if I'm
that
not
is
mistaken.
a really, really cool mini right there.
Yeah. And this is book number 3.
Well, I had a cool book, and I set it down, and that's my problem.
Going through
Yeah.
all your autographs last night, it could be anywhere.
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
And then
I wanted to
realized-
show up, by the way. I was really looking forward to showing up, but Chad also had a charity thing going on, and so
that's okay.
I
I'm gonna
decided
have
that
to-
took priority.
Mr.
I have to
Jordan.
redo that video sometime because I realized I missed 2 long boxes of autographs.
No way.
So I was
Oh,
like, well,
wow.
how the hell did that happen? So I missed a lot of books.
I'll show up for that one.
Yeah, there you go. So
Yeah.
I don't even know total wise what that puts me at. A
Wow.
lot
2 long
Wow.
Yeah,
boxes of
that's
signed
insane.
books.
that I missed. That's just what I missed.
Yeah.
Dude, we've got
Yeah.
the king of signed books right here. Look at that.
Yeah.
Yeah,
So
I was there.
think-
I was in like 15 minutes, and it seemed like 30 to maybe 50 books I saw, and they were all DC, and they were all good books in their own respect. He even had, I think you showed right before I left, you showed 2 Tomasi autographs,
Yep.
and we've been talking about Jeff Johns tonight. But if you're a Green Lantern fan,
Tomasi did a
Tomasi's
bunch
name
of
should be
books.
spoken. Yeah, right up there with Johns.
Or
He
Ron
was in the-
Mars for sure.
Yeah, he was like the companion book
Yep.
to Jeff Johns. He was doing the core at
It
the
was
same
so
time.
good. So good.
So,
Yeah.
yeah, I mean, a 1-2 punch on those books at that time, man.
Yeah, you couldn't read one
I don't
without
know if we'll
reading
ever
the
see
other.
that.
No.
Yeah.
No. Definitely not. But before we leave, anything coming up on your guys' channels that you want to shout out real quick?
Yeah, I'll take it.
Go for it.
So, first off, I think it's we need to announce, Tim, that we're going to take a small little break from our retro reviews, just because of the holidays. Nothing more than that. Just spend time
Fair
with
enough.
family and things like that. So we'll be
Unfortunately,
back at
family
it
first.
in January. Yeah. So don't think we're
Yeah.
skipping out or anything. We'll definitely be back. And the other thing I've got going on my channel, I don't have an exact date yet. I know it will be after Christmas, but we've got to promote the heck out of this thing because I'm telling you, it's going to be the best unboxing show you've ever seen on YouTube. We are going to have a whole bunch of the guys on. We've got some crazy boxes going out in the mail. Like they've been going out all week to a bunch of people. We're going to have them on the show just after Christmas. And it's going to be, you're going to see some major grails and just a ton of just laughs. It's going to be a great show. So
Is this
stay tuned and
mystery
look out
boxes
for
that they purchase or these AOKs or?
these are AOKs. These are
Okay.
all finely tuned boxes for specific people.
Gotcha.
And, so yeah, it's gonna be
Awesome.
fun.
I'm
I have
excited.
a question because I might have missed it. I think I missed one of your unboxings because you came on like right when I was going to bed one night for work. But I was watching an unboxing, and you said you had got something off eBay, and you showed that you were sending it to Squatchy. Has that already happened?
So that was that
Or is
has
that,
not happened yet. No, he hasn't gotten it yet.
And that's going to be part of that show, or
Yes,
is it?
yes, it's gonna be
Okay.
epic. It's gonna be so great.
Okay, because that's something I was hoping I had missed. So,
Oh, you're gonna want to be
awesome.
there in the live chat. So we'll give warning so that
Definitely.
everybody can do it. We'll schedule it in advance because it's gonna be that good.
Awesome.
Very cool. Very exciting. Definitely looking forward to that. Sounds like a lot of fun. Tim, what's coming up on your end? Anything cool?
I think for the most part, I'm not going to be doing too much on YouTube in the near future, other than probably fanboys. And of course, if I come to do your the show you were mentioning earlier, maybe near the end of January I'll start doing some more stuff. But it's mainly just because of holidays and work and all that. So check me out on Instagram because it's easier to post stuff there. I'll be more active on Instagram until late January. So I'm Tim the Comic Collector on Instagram.
Awesome. Sounds like you guys got a full plate coming up.
Yeah.
It sounds like a lot of fun. But yeah, hanging out with the family, going to Christmases and, giving your undivided attention 10 different directions, I can get it. I completely understand. And as for me, on my part, I'm going to be in the same boat as a lot of you guys. Not going to be as active because of the holidays. Because of the content that I do, I rely on the scheduling of others. So I think a lot of people are going to be in that boat. They're not going to be as active on YouTube as they usually are. But I definitely got some cool stuff coming up, like the Pennsylvania State Archive has agreed to let me take a tour of their gigantic comic book collection. They've got several thousand.
Awesome.
When are you doing that?
They got to go through the press office, and the governor has to okay it. But I mean, I work across the street, so I can't imagine anybody saying yes or no. I mean, but
awesome.
they have like Spider-Man, like first appearance of Spider-Man, and all these other cool issues, and they focus a lot on Pennsylvania artists and writers, so that's kind of neat. I know that Mr. Fu is from the Pennsylvania area, so he's probably going to tune in for that one.
Oh, heck yeah.
Yeah. So it's going to be awesome. It's something they don't normally do, but the main curator for that museum hopefully will let me in and take a tour and talk comics and check out the state of Pennsylvania's taxpayer-funded comic book collection.
That's crazy. That's going to be awesome, though.
Yeah.
That's going to be epic.
It's a big building too, so if you get a chance, look at the Pennsylvania State Archive building on Google Maps. It's gigantic. So I can only imagine what's in there. People, as they pass, they gift the state these books out of their collection, which is kind of cool. But that is going to be a transition point for me. I'm going to start that, and that's going to be a new series that I'm running. The problem is I suck at editing, so trying to put all this together is going to look ridiculous. It's going to look like a snow globe. But that's all I've got on this end.
That sounds awesome.
Other than that, I got nothing.
Cool.
All right.
Looking forward to the holidays. Everybody get your Thanksgiving guts gone just to get them back for Christmas.
Yep. Totally. Yeah. I just want to thank you again, Tony, for having us on. And I do want to apologize to both you guys as well as the community for the delay in this, because we were supposed to go last week. It was my fault. But I had some work commitments come up, so we had to delay. But I'm glad we got to do this.
Well, this time of the year, we're lucky we were just able to get it in at all, to be honest.
Yeah.
I know I gave you a hard time, but it wasn't Dave's fault. It happens.
Yeah, the truth is I was scared of and for good reason, clearly.
Yes. And don't forget, everybody sub each other in the chat. There's a lot of good content in here, a lot of good creators I see in here. So definitely sub each other up.
But Tony,
I can't believe that didn't win. I can't believe it didn't win. Now, if it had an American flag in the background and was holding
Yeah.
like
Yeah.
Bin Laden
It
with
is
the other
funny.
hand or something.
That is the one thing that's missing from this, right? Is the flag.
Yeah, right. I feel like I've
Crazy.
seen that picture put on like flags in the background or something.
Yeah.
Maybe
Hmm.
not.
Yeah.
Who knows? But awesome. We'll end it here at exactly an hour and a half. Look at that. That's
All right.
perfect.
We did good.
We did great.
Yeah.
We did great. But
Thanks for coming, everybody.
yes.
Yeah.
All right. I actually have to end broadcast this time.